Hey guys, welcome back to my shop again this week. Glad you could be here. And in today's What's in My Shop, I have the pieces from that computer case contest again. And unfortunately, I can't show you all of them together. I guess that's just kind of one of their rules. For some reason, they wouldn't let us post final pictures, or I assumed video, until they post their article for voting. So for now, I can't show it to you assembled, but this past week I did get all of the finishing work done on that, and so that's all ready to go. And I've had it together. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few things that if I had another go at it I probably would change, but I think based on the design that I had originally, I'm pretty happy with this one. Unfortunately, like I said, I can't show you all the pieces, but I did want to have at least a couple, because I kind of wanted to show off the grain here, because one of the things that I really like about this veneer is just the figure to it. The figure that it has is pretty cool. I don't know how well that'll come across on the camera, but I'll include a couple of clips that I shot on my phone, or actually I'll probably just shoot a couple more clips anyway, but the point is, I really like the veneer on this, and the piece of curly maple I used for the base also came out looking pretty good. So I am excited to eventually be able to show you that. I will shoot some video, but I won't be able to show it until later. I don't know how long I'll be able to have the case before I have to ship it out after they post their article. So my plan was to get all the final pictures done and then shoot some video of it when I have some of that stuff set up, and then I'll probably just shoot video and include it later as part of another update. So be on the lookout for that in about a month. We had 2 months to get this done. All of us that were building them, we had 2 months to build the cases after we designed it, after we got the hardware and all that kind of stuff. And I still have about a month left. So yeah, I guess now I just have to wait before I can show it off at all. So the next step is figuring out what I'm going to do for shipping it. And if I get these out of the way quick. One of the ideas that I was playing around with was to actually build kind of a shipping crate, a wooden one. I do have some 1x2s and some plywood that I could still do that with, but I did end up picking up one of these little, well, not that little, but cases that's an aluminum case, and once you open it up, there's going to be a bunch of foam inside, or there was foam inside, and I just kind of have to cut it to fit that. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of using this for shipping it. I mean, I'd still put it inside of another box just because there's a lot of stuff hanging off of this one, but it's there, it's easy, and since they're going to be supposedly using it to, the case that is, to show at various kinds of, you know, conventions or meetings or shows or whatever they're doing with them, I guess we haven't completely been told what, but we just know that we've been told we have to ship it to Intel, and then Intel is going to use it for shows, I guess. So anyway, I figured if I made it convenient and easy like this, maybe I could just make it in a way that they could carry this whole thing around, and hopefully I'd be able to worry less about it. Because, like I said, you know, you've seen it all together before I finished it, and yeah, a little worried that it might, you know, get damaged. So I'm just trying to do whatever I can to minimize that risk, just because I'd like to get it back in one piece. Well, 3 pieces, technically. I guess I'm shipping it in 3 pieces. There's the 2 arms, the base, and then the main part of it that all come apart. So the plan was to basically be able to put that all in here, and then I'd probably include just one of those little stub screwdrivers, because there's 2 Phillips screws. I have them right here. There's 2 Phillips screws, and then I have one kind of Allen head screw, or, you know, I mean, it's tapered, but one hex head screw that I'm probably going to include the wrench with too. And that's all the 3 screws that hold the thing together once all the other parts are together, I guess. So the base is held on with the 2 Phillips screws, and then the top part and the arm is held together by the other one. And I was thinking I'd probably just, you know, include those in here when I get around to getting the foam ready on the inside. And then hopefully anybody, even a marketing person, would be able to figure that out. So that's my plan, tentatively, I guess. I might still end up making my own case, but it's looking like it might be the way I go, just because it is a lot easier, and that'll let me get back to working on other projects, because I kind of need to. So for now, I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So not much exciting, but once it's done, it's done. And I guess the other thing that I've been doing this week so far is kind of messing around. I have a couple of hollow and round planes. Well, 2 hollow and round. 1 hollow, 1 round. You know, the hollow and round planes that just cut, you know, semicircles. And these are a number 8s, I believe. Yep, no, a pair of number 8s. And these I've been just kind of playing around with a little bit. That's why I have a bunch of planes on my bench at the moment. I have the Sigley jointer that I picked up at a MWTCA meet, and I really like this one. It's, let me grab Stanley here quick. It's a little bit smaller, technically. It's a little bit shorter, but not by much. Lengthwise, it's a little bit shorter height-wise with the sides, and the casting itself is thinner, except for the very front lip and the very back are about the same thickness as a Stanley, but it is a lot lighter, and that's not always something that you want. But when I'm just kind of messing around with pine, as I often do when I'm, you know, kind of just screwing around practicing with things, it's actually, I mean, it's not that necessary to have a heavy plane, and I'm, you know, just running jointing a couple of edges, so it's not anything crazy, but I kind of like it because it is a lot lighter. In comparison, I did a bunch of stuff with it. I've measured a bunch of things. I took a bunch of pictures, which I'll probably, you know, show somewhere, I don't know, like there. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I took a bunch of pictures, and it's similar but also different in terms of dimensions. It's close to the dimensions of the Stanley and a Keen cutter, but it's a little bit lighter. It's a couple pounds lighter, actually. It weighs about the same as my Stanley 5.5. So anyway, it's actually kind of interesting. I guess this particular style, or type rather, there's a couple of different types, you know, different ages when they produced these things, and this one apparently was produced after Stanley actually bought the Sigley patents and bought the Sigley planes, so that Stanley was actually making these planes. So this one was actually made by Stanley. Couple of things that are different is that there's 2 little set screws that kind of, you know, can adjust how far down on the iron this sits, and then there's a patent date on the little wheel here, that thumb screw that adjusts the lever cap. But anyway, enough of that. You know, it's just a plane that I'm using for doing that. And this one back here is a plane that I made out of 2 pieces of hard maple. It was 2x4, I guess, so 1.5 by 3.5, and I basically just cut out half of the mouth, basically, and the bed on one piece, cut it out on the other piece, and then finished it with a little Danish oil, curly maple tote, nope, sorry, bird's eye maple tote, and I don't know, it's big. It's big, it's heavy, it's a little bit too tall, I think. If I were to make it again in a similar process, I would probably plane down the body so it's not quite as tall, because 3.5 inches is kind of too tall. It's a little bit awkward to balance sometimes, so I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably make it probably at least half or 3/4 of an inch shorter. Probably not a whole inch, but I don't know. I liked it. It was fun. I did kind of do a blog on LumberJocks for making this plane. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll have a link in the description of the video. So it was fun. I do hope to make more once I get around to having more time. First things first, I want to make some hollow rounds, but after that I want to make a couple of more bench planes, you know, to go out into this jointer. So anyway, getting back to that, I've wanted hollows and rounds for a while now, and I picked these up at the same time that I bought my Sigley jointer at an MWTCA meet, and I bought the book Molding Planes in Practice, or Moldings in Practice, something like that, by Matt Bickford, and I bought it from the Lost Art Press. And if you've never bought a book that was published by the Lost Art Press, they are incredibly good quality. Like, I don't know, that cover feels nice and heavy, everything. It's a good quality product, I guess. So if you're thinking about, you know, going digital copy versus regular, and it's produced by the Lost Art Press, I would recommend, well, I did both, but anyway, they're nice. It's a nice book. So I've been going through that, reading it, and, you know, it's all about molding planes, and I'm trying to get a handle on these things a little bit better. I only have two at the moment, well, two of these, and I have a set of, what, 6, 8, and 10 for the bases for Stanley number 45, but these are quite a bit easier to work with in terms of weight and size, because the 45 can get a little bit kind of bulky and a little bit heavy. So I don't know, just kind of playing around with them. That's kind of what I've been doing, other than finishing that computer, was hacking up some pine, and nothing really good or crazy, I guess. I don't know, just a little bit of a 1/4 round along with a couple of fillets. Nothing too fancy, and this one was just well, started out as just a hollow, and then I added a little bit of a round. Whatever. I don't really plan on using them for anything. It's just messing around, getting used to using them, and hopefully get that down so I can make one set. I have an iron and a bunch of other stuff that I need for it. I just need the last couple of floats for that, and then I'll be making another one of those. But first things first, I need to get some other projects done. So this week, what I hope to do is keep working on this computer case. Go figure, another computer case. Of course, he's always making computer cases. Well, you know, then I can do both hobbies at once, spend twice as much money, and have twice as much fun. Well, maybe not twice as much money, but you get the idea. So anyway, this is a computer case that I'm building for my wife. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I don't think I've actually shown it. But anyway, it's going to be made out of solid mahogany, unlike the last one, which was veneer. And there's going to be all the computer parts on this side, and there's going to be a water cooling reservoir and pump and power supply on this side, and the radiator obviously up front. And that should be a pretty fun project. It should be pretty cool once it's done, I hope. I guess it's kind of what I go for, but this is now going to be my new priority now that I got done with the other computer case. So next things that I need to do is I need to get another piece on the bottom, and that was kind of always the plan. I have these mortise and tenon up here in the top, and then the top panel is dovetailed there, and, you know, rabbet over here for the side panels. But yeah, I have a work log for that I'm sharing in a couple of different forums, and I'll have a link to one of those down in the description below. Or if you're already a member over at the modzoo.com, that's kind of my main presence, I guess, in the computer modding community. But yeah, so that about wraps it up for this past week, and like I said, hopefully I'll get a lot of work done on this week, so I want to share that next time. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.